Hey, welcome. I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's reading is the person on your mind. What have they realized about you? What do they think they've realized about you anyway? Okay, so we have three groups for you to choose from: group one, group two, and group three. Feel free to pause the video if you need some time to choose, but I will see you guys in your readings. Hey, welcome. I hope you guys are doing good. If you've chosen the first group, then this reading is for you. The person on your mind, what are they realizing about you? What do they think they're realizing about you? Okay. Okay. So for a lot of you here, they're realizing that you are a bit of a hermit, whether that be at the moment or in general, maybe in certain environments, or you just have your moments. But yeah, they do realize, in their opinion, their perspectives, that you are a bit of a hermit, but also see that you have this obvious confidence to you as well. They realize that your need to spend time alone is something that it's a need and not a want, in their opinion. For some reason they've realized that, and in their perspective they do feel that you want to set yourself apart from others, or maybe them specifically, or maybe another group of people, but they kind of get the feeling that you do want to set yourself apart. They are realizing that you are special, who you are, your character, and they're noticing actually how much they admire you. They are seeing that you don't always give a lot away. This could be never giving much away, or just, majority of the time. But even though they see you as not giving a lot away, at the same time, they don't think you're, mysterious, secretive, or private. And for them, they see or realize that they may not be the one trying enough in your relationship, or they haven't been trying to understand you, and they realize that they maybe been judging you, maybe based on themselves, or their own experiences, like from like a limited perspective. They realize they've been seeing you recently, or maybe even since they met you, and they do realize that it's unfair. They realize, in their opinion, that you are a lot more transparent or direct than they thought. But at the same time, they don't feel you give a lot away. At the same time, they don't think you're, secretive, or, dishonest. Like, you're kind of transparent, but at the same time, like, maybe you're not, going around telling everyone, um, a lot of details about you as well. Or it could be in another way that makes more sense to you, of course. But they are also realizing that you don't really care to be heard or understood. They realize that you really value yourself. They're seeing that you are wise and smart and have a strong sense of who you are. They notice that you want personal growth, or they are realizing how much you've grown and changed, maybe since they've met you, or maybe even throughout your life, and certain things that they haven't really seen for themselves, but they can imagine. So they also realize that you won't be swayed by by external influences, that you don't really listen to the noise, that you like to make up your own mind and your own opinions on certain things. They realize that you're still trying to mature, that you generally have a deeper understanding of things from what they've noticed. And they're seeing that other people could learn a lot from you, or there are certain people who already are learning from you. So it feels like they're only now seeing just how confident you are, but see that you are not in a warm and fuzzy, maybe outgoing sort of place right now. That could be why they're seeing you as a hermit at the moment. But they do feel that you are focused on other things, or they feel that it kind of seems that way. Or they have noticed that you seem, preoccupied. And, they're realizing as well that you can be charismatic when you want to be, that you are also a passionate person, that sometimes your passion for things, spills over, like there's a lot of passion for certain things. And they also feel that you like to make someone or other people in general feel valued. And for some of you, they're noticing that you may not like to take charge, but you also do it well. Whenever you are kind of made to take charge, that you do it well, and you do it effortlessly as well. They're seeing that you are deeply creative and just very magnetic, even if you don't want to be or try to be. They've also noticed you are very successful, hardworking as well. And they feel like they've realized that people who try to be confrontational with you won't, it just won't work out for them. Like they just feel it won't be um, a productive outcome if someone was to meet you with a confrontational energy. They could just assume that you don't really have time for it, you know? For a lot of you, they are realizing that you are very realistic, more realistic than you are idealistic. But at the same time, they do see you as idealistic as well, just a bit more on the realistic side. And they do realize that you don't really like when certain things don't meet your expectations, in their opinion. They're noticing that you are rebellious, daring, not afraid to take a risk. They see that you are highly motivated as well. And they also realize that you aren't disillusioned when it comes to certain things and people. For some of you, this could be specific to romantic situations. And for some of you, if you are asking about a romantic connection, they could realize that you guys are having some challenges and feel that it will take time more than anything to resolve those challenges. They don't feel like there's anything you could do or they can do, just like time, you know. But yeah, and it feels like they're also realizing that you handle difficult situations very well, but they also feel that you have or are currently experiencing a lot of highs and a lot of lows too. Okay, so we have, okay, let me do these ones first. So we have don't force it. We have get some sleep. We have willpower. We have lottery, bet on yourself. We have box, reveal your secret power. We have stay strong in your faith. A positive outcome is dependent on you keeping a positive mindset. And we also have bless your heart, reach out for emotional and spiritual support. So with don't force it, they've realized that you are in a more, maybe a more laid back kind of energy, like, kind of what we said at the beginning, that they do feel that you are in a bit of a hermit mode at the moment. They could feel that you are, in an energy right now where you're not really forcing things, like you're more laid back. And like they could realize, in their opinion, that you're kind of just like letting things happen and yeah, kind of like maybe taking a back seat. But for others of you, they've realized that they shouldn't force it with you or force you to do certain things, Like they realize that maybe they will have the best outcome with you if they kind of leave you to it almost. So with get some sleep, they could realize that you are, again, it could come back to what we were just speaking about, but they could also feel that for some of you that you're hitting pause on certain things, that you are maybe taking a break or wanting to take a break, but you don't seem as active or as involved as you usually are. With bless your heart, reach out for emotional and spiritual support. For some of you, they have noticed in their perspective that you may need help with something, or you may need some support. For some of you, it is the other way around, and they feel that they currently need your support, or eventually they would need your support. They could just feel that or notice that you are a supportive person in general. And for some of you, they've realized that if you are going to bet on anyone, it's going to be on yourself. Like they could realize that you trust yourself to get something done, as opposed to kind of putting that responsibility into someone else's hands. They do realize that you're quite responsible in general, actually. They also realize that you do have a ton of willpower and determination. And for some of you, it feels like they've realized you could be stressed, but I don't know if you don't show it or you just handle it well, but that's something that they've realized. For some of you, it could be that you handle it well, as opposed to like not showing it. So with box, it feels like they've realized that they've been putting you in a box, or that they've been kind of like, yeah, kind of trying to fit you into a box, fit you into a category, and they realize that they can't, you know, that they shouldn't have, and that maybe some of your, interactions would have been different had they not done that. Or they realize that your relationship would be different if they hadn't tried to fit you into, a certain box. But yeah. And finally, we have stubborn, we have formal, and we also have frugal. So with stubborn, it feels like they've realized that their thinking has been very like stubborn and fixed when it comes to you, and they're realizing that probably has to change, that what they have been thinking isn't, correct or right. With formal, they've realized that you are quite formal, maybe with them, with other people, maybe just in general, like how you carry yourself is quite, And with frugal, it feels like they've realized you're not as frugal as they thought you were. They could have thought you were in the past. And yeah. But that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it could be helpful, and I'm wishing you the best, okay? Take care. Bye. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the second group, then this reading is for you. The person on your mind, what have they realized about you? Or what do they think they realized, should we say? Okay, so what have they realized? So we have the Two of Wands in reverse, the Moon in reverse, and the Temperance card in reverse as well. So it feels like they're realizing that you might be stuck and not know what to do next, or know what's best for yourself at the minute in a specific area of your life, or just in general. Like, it could be work related, relationship related, it could be, related to your home or a hobby or something, something like that. But in their opinion, they feel that you might be stuck, and they're noticing that you may not have the best judgment. And this could be referring to a specific person or a specific area of your life at the moment, but they don't necessarily see you as someone who doesn't have the best judgment in general. But for some of you, it feels like they see that you're being manipulated, treated unfairly, and they could feel that you're kind of just putting up with it for whatever reason. Whether that be, with someone you're in a relationship with, a family member, or someone you work with. But for some reason, they do feel like you are kind of putting up with someone who isn't treating you as you should be treated, and they do realize that you are, or you need to rethink some of your goals and how you're going to reach them. They could already think you're kind of, already thinking about this stuff, and, trying to rethink what you might do about certain things. For others of you, they could feel like that would be something that would benefit you. And it feels like they've noticed that you might be struggling on deciding what to commit to, and realize that that decision, or that indecision, or not knowing what to commit to, might be creating some delays for you. So they realize that you seem frustrated, that you potentially need help, but feel that you don't know how to ask for help, or feel that you want to figure it out on your own. Or they could even, have the impression that it might knock your confidence if you were to ask for help. And they realize that you do want to embrace new opportunities, but you're potentially being blocked from doing so, maybe through circumstances, maybe a person, or again, like maybe some form of indecision. And they realize that you are hesitant to take risks, in their opinion, or step out of your comfort zone. They feel that you are still trying to figure out what's important to you, and they also feel that you might be more idealistic than realistic, and they do feel that isn't helping you, or it won't help you when it comes to some of the things that you want. So I don't know who this person is to you, but it also feels like they are noticing a disconnect between the two of you. And in their opinion, they're also realizing that you may not be motivated enough for something, not in general, just that there are some things that you aren't, as motivated as they feel you should be, from their perspective. But having said that, they also feel like there are other things that you are facing, head on. And they realize that you're healing, even if that process is slow and steady. They feel that it would be best if you spent a lot more of your time, trying to gain clarity. And they do hope that all this uncertainty is short-lived for you. And in their opinion, they have noticed that sometimes you do let your fears get in the way. And they've realized, in their opinion, that you may need more awareness. And for some of you, they feel that you need to stop being so mysterious, or maybe secretive in some way, and too pessimistic. They feel like that isn't helping you. And for some reason, I don't know who this person is to you, but they also feel that you need to give them a better understanding of your circumstances. So they've also noticed that you need to trust yourself more. They could even feel that you need to trust them more, or other people. And they realize that it might be hard for you to maintain your stability right now, in general or a specific area. And they realize that you might be growing impatient, that you seem kind of tense. But they do also see that you're focused on self-care, and that you are generally very nurturing towards others. For some of you, they realize that you might benefit from an outside perspective, maybe their perspective, and they, in their opinion, they realize time management may be difficult for you right now and feel that you are maybe being pulled in a few too many directions. And they realize that they should, just be patient with you and, maybe the circumstances surrounding you at the moment. Okay, so we have some good stuff is about to happen. We also have be grateful. We have move forward. Busy times and multitasking. Unconventional. We have embrace your wild side. And we also have flowers. Pluck the weeds and plant the seeds of your most magnificent expression. So with some good things are about to happen, they realize that you just want some positive changes, that you want something to work out and that you want good things to happen to you. And they realize that you want things to look forward to, you want things to feel optimistic about. And they realize that you might not really have that, that kind of that positive focus, that kind of promise that good things will, come to fruition for you in the near future or the future. And with be grateful, they realize that they actually need to be grateful of you, for whatever reason. With animal, embrace your wild side. I don't know if this has anything to do with anyone's wild side or anything like that, but they have realized that you have been very embracing of them, maybe supportive, So with busy times and multitasking, they also realize that you might feel that you are being pulled in too many directions. They realize that you may just want to kind of sit down and you maybe focus on one thing at a time, but circumstances are making that hard. So with move forward, this feels like it's about them and they've realized that you've helped them move forward in life or certain areas of their life. With unconventional, they realize that it doesn't necessarily have to be that you are unconventional in general, just that you might be unconventional when it comes to certain things. And they realize that you might want to be accepted for the different things that you do or things that might be considered, unconventional and not necessarily the norm, And with flower, it says pluck the weeds and plant the seeds for your most magnificent expression. They feel that either from their perspective that there are things that, need to be removed, the weeds, from your life in order for you to grow, move forward and expand in the way that you want to. For others, they could feel that or realize that you are already in that process of trying to remove the weeds from your life. so that you can maybe live the life that you want to live, or express yourself the way you want to be, the way you want to express yourself. And finally, we have impartial, we have hypocritical, and we also have versatile. So for some of you, these messages are actually more so about them than you. It feels like they've realized that they may need to be more impartial when it comes to you, or just maybe not have so much of an opinion on you, maybe, stuff that you're doing, what you're dealing with, how you deal with things, and they realize that they could be being hypocritical when it comes to you. And they also realize that they need to be a bit more versatile when it comes to you, like a bit more open, and not limited and restrictive in their thinking or in their approach to you. But that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it could be helpful, and I'm wishing you the best. Okay, take care. Bye. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the third group, then this reading could be for you, the person on your mind. What have they realized about you? What do you think they've realized? Okay, so we have the Page of Cups in reverse, Four of Wands also in reverse, and the King of Wands in reverse. Okay, so in their opinion, they've realized that there are some things, certain circumstances maybe, that you can't handle very well. For some of you, it could be social circumstances, and they could also feel that you have trouble with communication at times. But they do notice that you try it anyway, and that you do engage and are engaging, even though it could be difficult for you in certain social situations. They realize, in their opinion, that you can be unpredictable, that each time they see you, you show up differently. For some of you, they realize that your mood varies quite often. They could feel, in their perspective, that you are sometimes struggling to maintain emotional stability. It could be at the moment, it could be in general, and for some of you, they could even feel like what they've noticed about this emotional, fluctuations is that it can be quite subtle. And they realize that sometimes you struggle to manage your day-to-day, or just certain things within your day-to-day, like those regular routine responsibilities that you might have. And they realize that you could be experiencing a lot of blocks at the moment, but they also notice that you aren't really trying to fight against it, that you're kind of rolling with it from their perspective, and they kind of feel that you're hoping for the best, and they realize that you are quite hopeful in general, actually. And in their perspective, they also realize that you are quite secretive but not deceitful. For some of you, they realize that you've had maybe a difficult time. For some of you, maybe a difficult life, or they could assume or know that you didn't grow up with much stability, or just with like the ideal kind of circumstances. For some of you, it might not have anything to do with that, and just, they just feel that you've had a difficult time recently. But they also notice that you don't like to see yourself as a victim, and you don't like to kind of like play the victim as well. For some of you, they realize that your usual creativity isn't there. They feel that you seem a bit more, subdued or plain than usual, or your approach to things are, less enthusiastic, less creative. And they realize that you may have like a certain reluctance towards someone, maybe them, or like a group of people, but they feel that they can sense some reluctance from you. They realize that your same confidence isn't there at the moment, that you seem to be doubting yourself more, and maybe doubting your position. For some of you, maybe doubting your likability, and they notice in their opinion that you are trying to distract yourself, that you could be trying to avoid potential problems. For some of you, they do think that they've noticed that you might be in denial about certain things. And this doesn't have to be a negative thing, it could be denial about how good something is, like your potential or your strengths. But again, it can be referring to other things as well. And they also realize that you can be very outgoing when you want to be. And, they do notice that you need to stop doubting yourself, and that you're more capable and talented than you give yourself credit for. They do realize as well that you might be sensitive to certain people's opinions or, critiques. But they also notice that you are, quite interactive and assertive when you want to be or when you need to be. They've also noticed from their perspective that you might not be good with other people's emotions, or, kind of dealing with other people's problems. They also realize that you might be finding it hard to find harmony in some area of your life, that you might be finding it hard to achieve what you set out to. So they also notice that you might be feeling a bit emotional at the moment, or, be feeling a bit disconnected. And, they do think that you think things will work itself out. And they realize as well that you may not want to be in charge in general, or related to a specific situation, person, responsibility, whatever it might be. They've also noticed that you can be a bit impulsive, that you maybe are mainly focused on the short term as well. They realize that low key you could be feeling burnout, and in their perspective, they feel like they see that you want to be more dependent on someone. And they've also noticed that you could be a bit reckless as well. Okay, so we have, let me do these ones first. So we have winning, and we also have you think someone is lying. We have concealed power. We have bridge. Stay strong and remain connected to what's important to you. We have guide, following the footprints of greatness. We have purification and detoxification. It's time to release physical and energetic toxins from your life. And we also have give it to God, take a deep breath. And on the exhale, release this situation to God for healing and answers. So with winning, they've realized that you both might want to win each other over, maybe in different ways. With you think someone is lying, it feels like in their perspective, they've realized that you could potentially see them not necessarily as a liar in general, but just lying about something specific. So with give it to God, it feels like they've realized, and I may have said this already, that you want or you expect some of your circumstances or problems to kind of resolve themselves. So with purification and detoxification, it feels like they realized that you could benefit from some type of detox or removing certain things from your life that could be considered, unhealthy, toxic in some way. For some of you, it could be that they realize that is something that you're already trying to do. So with bridge, it feels like they've realized that they need to, or that they want to try and maintain the, relationship and connection that they have to you. Like whatever bridge you guys have from them to you, like they want to maintain that connection there. So with concealed power, it also feels like they've realized that they've been waiting on you to reveal something to them. And this could be about them, like they're waiting for you to bring something up about them. So with guide, it feels like they've realized that that you have high expectations of yourself in certain areas of your life, or it's like they realize that maybe you want to be in a higher position and that you may have like big shoes to fill, if that makes sense. They realize that you could be trying to follow like a certain path towards, success or greatness. And for some of you, they realize that you don't really want to, kind of like disconnect from that path that that you've set for yourself towards, success or greatness in some way. And finally, we have nice, we have perfectionist, and we have obedient. So they've realized with perfectionists, they've realized that in their opinion, you don't feel the need to, be a perfectionist. That you don't feel the need to maybe focus on every single detail or get every single detail, correct. And they realize with nice that they, could benefit from being nicer to you, or that they want to be nicer to you. And finally, with obedience, it feels like they've either realized that, there are certain people that, respect you, and there are certain people that you respect. I don't know if it's really about obeisance in a way. For some of you, it could be. But they do feel that there are certain people that listen to you, and there are certain people that you are more likely to listen to, But anyways, that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it can be helpful, and I'm wishing you the best, okay? Take care. Bye.